Mob Psycho is definitely an anime that I feel like it's really overlooked for some reason, despite it being, in my opinion, one of the best new gen shonens of all time. You see, many of these new gen animes seem to follow just the same plot over and over and over and over. It just gets repetitive to where you feel like you're watching the same show over and over again, but just with different characters. Mob, on the other hand, it's so unique and is, I feel like, much more interesting than the majority of these new gen animes.
Go ahead and cancel me, I don't care.
Which could be the reason for its overlooking. So today, I'm going to convince every single person on planet Earth that this is peak.
Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander. I make it lean, but you ain't drinking no family. Walk off the scene with a sawed off and no handle. Gucci, my scene in my pocket, got phone handles.
Animation is a very important thing that keeps people hooked on animes and can be the main attraction. For example, Demon Slayer. That show would be so shitty if it had worse animation. I don't care. Now, the animation of Mob Psycho is actually insane, and I will admit the art style is slightly on the goofy side, but I feel like if anything, it just kind of helps separate it from other animes even more, because it just looks so unique. And then obviously you incorporate the animation. It's just, this isn't even glazed, but I swear to God, every single fight in Mob Psycho is animated perfectly. Just look at this shit, man. Oh yeah, by the way, if you disagree, you're wrong.
Man, I'm bored. As it stands, I'm just a glorified masseuse. Time to throw in the towel.
And now, of course, for the characters, I've got to start off with Mob himself. Mob is born with one of the strongest powers in the show, but doesn't really have an end goal, or doesn't even know what to do with his powers in general. Because in reality, he's literally just a regular high school kid, and he just wants to be popular instead of being an outcast like it's portrayed. Now, if it wasn't for my glorious king, Reagan, then Mob would have never had any of the character development that he has throughout the show. Now, Reagan has no psychic powers like Mob does, but he does have what Mob doesn't have, which is charisma. Now, I believe this is the best character Mob could have been introduced to, because that's what he needs to develop emotionally. He teaches him that his Esper powers does not make him any different from any other person, which is probably the best thing a teenage lonely boy with the strongest powers in the verse needs to hear. This also helps you understand who Reagan is as a person, because he runs a shop of basically just fucking scamming everyone, and he does this by capitalising on his so-called psychic powers, which he doesn't have. But Mob has no idea about this. He doesn't learn up until the very end that he doesn't have Esper powers.
I have no power!
Now, Reagan doesn't do this in a mean way. He does it more in a way to protect Mob from, I guess, losing hope. Because if he did learn sooner, then he would not have developed like he did without knowing that he didn't have Esper powers. Or with knowing. I don't fucking know. But then again, it wasn't exactly Reagan's so-called psychic powers that Mob looked up to. It was the fact he was such a good person, and he was confident about that and always gave the right answers to any solution. I mean, problem on brain though. Now, I do want to speak about Mob's and Reagan's falling out, because I think it is really the most crucial part in the show for both of their characters' development, because Mob kind of begins to see through Reagan's lies and how he's kind of just using him for his job, to the point where Mob actually leaves Reagan. But Reagan accepts this and just kind of lets him do what he wants. And he does actually end up proving to himself that he can live without Mob and he doesn't have to rely on him 24/7. He should only ask for Mob's help when he truly needs it. Now, for Mob, on the other hand, this teaches him that he shouldn't be reliant on other people all of the time for his problems, because up until now he has been relying on Reagan for most of his problems. So for the time they were apart, Mob did have to deal with things on his own. Therefore, Mob learned how to be independent and developed as a character. Holy shit, the writing's insane! No, but in conclusion, Mob Psycho is absolutely peak and you have to watch it now. I just wanted to briefly speak about how Mob and Reagan work together so well as characters. It's so much better than your average shonen, man. But yeah, that's all. Goodbye.